think that when we talk about women's basketball, people are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one.
Angel Reese is undeniably making headlines, but it's not for the reasons most sponsors were hoping for. The buzz that surrounded her signing with Reebok, her future as a marketable force in basketball, and the anticipation of her signature shoe hitting the shelves in 2026 is all starting to feel shaky. For a player who once seemed like a perfect candidate to lead the charge for women's basketball's commercial success, the wheels are falling off in unexpected ways. Those who have followed her career were quick to call her a superstar in the making, but what's becoming increasingly evident is that the hype might have been overblown. Sponsors are starting to back away quietly, and what should have been an undeniable celebration of Reese's ascension is now mired in question marks. Let's break this down. Angel Reese, who many assumed was a box office star, now finds herself struggling to keep up with the expectations set by her brand. With Reebok's big 2026 shoe launch meant to coincide with her all-star performance, the stage was set for her to make waves. But what unfolded was an unmitigated disaster that no one could have predicted. Instead of basking in the spotlight, Angel's much-anticipated moment turned into an embarrassing flop of monumental proportions. She had spent months carefully planning how to leverage the All-Star Game to promote her new Reebok shoe, planning for the perfect intersection of star power with Caitlin Clark on the court. The idea was simple. Clark, one of the most popular names in basketball, would draw massive viewership, and Reese could ride that wave to instant recognition. But that plan fell apart quicker than you can say missed layup. Just days before the All-Star Game, Caitlin Clark, the very person Reese was depending on to help elevate her shoe debut, was sidelined due to a groin injury. Suddenly, Reese's big moment was reduced to a half-empty gym and a shadow of the visibility she had been counting on. Without Clark there, the All-Star Game lost its biggest draw, and Angel Reese's planned shoe launch lacked the necessary viewership to make any meaningful impact. The irony? Reese, who had been vocal about how she was ready to take over the league, was now left trying to make the most of a moment that didn't exist. Without Clark, the game simply wasn't the same, and neither was the exposure Reese had hoped for. To add insult to injury, when it came time for her to showcase her skills, Angel's game was, well, less than stellar. In one unforgettable moment, Reese turned what should have been an easy putback layup into a viral blooper, missing not once, but several times in a row. The commentators couldn't even contain their laughter as they struggled to put a positive spin on the debacle. The clips spread like wildfire, and rather than becoming a moment of glory, Reese became a punchline, and not the kind anyone wants to be associated with. And let's talk numbers. Reese's field goal percentage this season sits at 44.4%. That sounds decent at first glance until you realize most of her shots are from right under the basket. For context, professional basketball players typically make layups at a 70 to 80% clip. That means Reese, despite being an elite player, is struggling with even the most basic shots in basketball. Analysts have started referring to this as the Angel Reese effect, where simple, easy shots turn into near impossible missions. For a player with her pedigree, this is a massive issue. Let's not forget the fact that Reebok, the brand that has heavily invested in her, is feeling the burn. Under the leadership of basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal, they've pinned their hopes on Angel Reese to help revitalize their basketball division. They made her the centerpiece of their marketing efforts, pushing her signature shoe and branding her as the face of the company's comeback. But, as we're seeing, a signature athlete's image can only shine so brightly before the cracks in their performance start to show. With Angel missing shots, her team underperforming, and her highly anticipated shoe debut falling flat, the brand's investment is starting to look more like a gamble gone wrong. Reebok had hoped that by aligning with Reese, they could capture some of the magic that her competitors were experiencing. Yet, just as the company was preparing for a big moment, Reese's team, the Chicago Sky, spiraled into a losing streak, one that coincided almost perfectly with her back injury, which kept her sidelined for a number of games. When a brand is trying to sell a lifestyle based on athletic excellence, watching its star player miss layups and sit out games becomes a major red flag. It's bad enough that she's been injured, but it's worse that the team is crumbling without her. It's not just Reebok that's facing the fallout. Angel Reese's overall brand strategy is now in jeopardy. She had positioned herself as the future face of the WNBA, a player who could move merchandise, drive viewership, and bring in sponsorships. But what happens when your marketing relies on the wrong kind of press? What happens when instead of getting highlights, you're getting lowlight reels? Angel Reese's brand was built on potential and personality, but now it's becoming clear that you can't build lasting success without the fundamentals. And right now, those fundamentals are missing. To make matters worse, the league itself is turning a blind eye to the fact that the Sky are struggling without their best player. The Chicago Sky's record is 8-21, and it doesn't look like it will get any better soon. Reese's absence has been glaring, but it's also raising uncomfortable questions about her value to her team. For a brand like Reebok, that's not an easy narrative to sell. At the same time, Caitlin Clark has been raking in praise for her record-breaking performances and driving significant growth in women's basketball. While Reese has struggled, Clark has solidified her position as a true star, bringing in sponsorship deals and making headlines for all the right reasons. The contrast between the two is stark. But despite all this, Angel Reese is still trying to make her mark. The Reebok shoe deal, the national stage, and the media exposure were all meant to cement her as one of the league's shining stars. Instead, they've exposed a harsh reality. Without consistent performance, all the branding in the world won't carry you across the finish line. And that's what's happening now. The shoe launch, initially meant to be a celebration of her success, has become a symbol of poor timing and bad luck. It's not just a setback, it's a cautionary tale about the importance of performance backing up personality. And let's not ignore the fact that, despite everything, Angel Reese continues to receive attention. But it's not the kind of attention she or her sponsors would want. The TikTok videos, the memes, the viral moments of missed layups, they all speak to the growing narrative around her. As much as she's tried to market herself as the next big thing, the public is still fixated on her failures, and it's becoming a joke at her expense. The reality is, when you're a professional athlete, performance matters more than anything else. You can't build a brand around missed opportunities, no matter how many clever marketing campaigns you launch. Now, as the WNBA continues to gain traction and expand its influence, it's important to acknowledge the challenges ahead for players like Angel Reese. The sport is growing, but it's not immune to the realities of business. The marketing strategies, the shoe deals, the brand collaborations, they all depend on one thing: consistent performance. And right now, Angel's inconsistency is overshadowing everything she's trying to build. This is the harsh reality that Angel Reese is facing. The clock is ticking on her brand, and if she can't turn things around on the court, the sponsors and the fans will start moving on. She's got the potential to be a superstar, but right now, her biggest enemy is the lack of consistency and the pressure to perform. The next phase of her career will be determined by how she responds to these setbacks. Can she turn things around? Can she become the player her brand was built on? Or will she become another cautionary tale of potential loss to poor execution? The ball's in her court now. Let's see what